Welcome back to Rich Connections, where we have real, raw conversations that challenge how you think, I think, how we feel, and how we ultimately show up in our lives. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about living a life that looks good, it's about living one that actually feels good. So today's episode is really just about that. It's about how you actually come back to yourself when life pulls you completely out of alignment. So let's dive in. I want to start this episode with something real and truly vulnerable. I'm sharing it for the sake of the conversation. Otherwise, I wouldn't be. But I went through something a while back that honestly crippled me. Two people I trusted deeply, someone I was in a relationship with, and someone I considered, well, one of my closest friends, were not just betraying me, they were sleeping with each other behind my back. And I'm saying that plainly because that it is what it is. It's the truth. And there's a different kind of pain that comes with that. And it's not just heartbreak, but betrayal from two different directions at once. And what made it heavier wasn't just what they were doing, it was the deception, the conversations, the interactions, the way I was being shown one thing while something completely different was happening behind the scenes. And ultimately, my interactions and realizing in retrospect some of the, and I remember sitting in it and just my mind racing and thinking about that's why she responded the way she did in that moment. And that's, like just putting pieces together and just trying to piece everything together ultimately, replaying moments, questioning what was real and what wasn't. And that's what betrayal does. It doesn't just hurt you emotionally, it disrupts your sense of reality, your sense of safety, and your ability to trust your own perception. I felt angry, I felt hurt, and honestly, really, truly embarrassed of it all. And if I were really being honest, I would still have to check myself on this one because it would be very easy for me to stay in that story, to label them, to sit in the anger, to keep reliving it. And what people don't realize is when you relive something like that over and over and over, your body is actually responding like it's happening again and again and again. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a memory and a real lifetime experience. So you keep yourself stuck in it without even realizing it. But I realized something. If I stay there, I was the only one losing. Because not because what they did was okay, but because I refused to let someone else's actions keep me disconnected from myself. And the truth is, betrayal doesn't just show you who they are. It truly just shows you what you're no longer available for. And this is the part that no one really teaches you. You don't need to fix your life. You need to learn how to regulate yourself, observe what's happening, and just reconnect back to you because most people don't stay stuck because of what happened. They stay stuck because they keep reliving it. They replay it, they analyze it, they look for validation and they try to make it make sense and or how they did something wrong and all of the things. And all of that keeps your energy tied to the experience. And when your energy is tied to something, you can't fully move forward. And I've done that before. Probably do it again. But this is exactly why I created my emerge process. Because in moments like that, you don't need more thinking. You need a way to come back to yourself. So we're going to talk about that. And I want to slow this down because emerge is not just a list of steps, it's a process of returning to yourself over and over again. Okay. So, what it stands for, I'll tell you what it stands for, and then we'll go into it and how it works and how you can utilize it in your own life. It stands for energy, meditation, engagement, reflection, gratitude, and then exercise. But what is it really? It's awareness, it's regulation, neutrality, connection, and then ultimately intentional action. It's learning how to move through your emotions without becoming controlled by them. So let's start here. Where is your energy right now? And if you're in a car, you're cleaning or multitasking or whatever it is, like don't you can do this in your mind, and but if you're able to close your eyes and truly be present in this in the questions that I'm asking you, be there, okay? Or come back and do it then. But where's your energy right now? And I want you to actually take a second with this because most people answer this question from their head, but your body knows. Who are you thinking about? What situation are you replaying? What are you worried about? What is your body holding? Because wherever your attention is, that's where your energy is going. And your energy is your power. So if it's constantly outside of you, you're constantly feeling drained, reactive, or just ultimately disconnected. So now ask yourself this: is this mine to carry right now? And really feel that. So if you feel that you are carrying energy that belongs to someone else, or an experience that you had in the past, or whatever it is, do you need to carry it right now? So, for example, I'm going through something right now that is heavy, and I'm having struggles with the right and wrong. And in my last episode, you would have heard me talk about how I feel about that. So, it comes down to I have to keep telling myself, this is not my burden to bear. This is not my burden to bear. The outcome is the outcome. It is not my burden to bear because I constantly am like wanting the best for people, and sometimes that causes me to hold on to their problems in hopes that I can fix it in some way, shape, or form, even though I'm not doing anything. It may just be energetic, but I keep telling myself it's not my burden to bear. So, is this mine to carry right now? And really feel that, because sometimes the answer is no, but we carry it anyway out of habit, attachment, or just the need to understand, or like me, to fix it. And if it's not yours, bring it back. Call your energy back gently. I'm bringing my energy back to me, because awareness is the first step to control. You cannot shift anything you are not aware of. And I have this meditation, or not meditation, but it's a step process of calling your energy back. And if you want that, I'll put that in the show notes below. Or you can download it from, I'll put the link in the show notes below and you can download it, or you can go to richconnectionspodcast.com and it'll be there as well. And then this leads into meditation. And I really want to expand this because people get stuck here. See, meditation is not about stopping your thoughts. It's about becoming aware of them. A lot of people think that, oh, I can't meditate, but your brain does, your your brain produces thousands of thoughts a day, and that's normal. But most people are unconsciously reacting to those thoughts. Meditation is where you interrupt that pattern. So even just a few seconds of awareness can lower your cortisol, slow your heart rate, and just shift your body out of fight or flight. But and that's important, because when you're in fight or flight, your brain is not prioritizing logic. It's prioritizing survival, which is why you react, you overthink, you spiral, or just shut down. See, meditation brings your system back online. And here's something I love to tell people, okay? If you can watch TV, you can meditate. Because when you're watching something you're focused, you're present, you're absorbed, and that's a meditative state. You're in the same brain state as you are when you're meditating. So the difference is, now you're choosing awareness inside of it. So meditation doesn't have to be perfect. It can be one breath, it can be one pause, it can be just one moment where you say, I see what's happening right now. And that alone starts to change everything. And this is also where I'm really intentional about supporting my body, because you can do all the mindset work in the world, but if your body is dysregulated, it's going to be harder to come back to yourself. One brand I've been loving is Organic Olivia. They create herbal blends that actually support your body in a real natural state. I've personally used their glucose bitters, especially when I feel off or overwhelmed. And it really just helps support your digestion and balance things out. Because a lot of what we're talking about today, stress, emotional swings, feeling out of control. It's not just mental, it's physical too. So, supporting your body while you're doing this work makes everything easier. I'll drop the link below if you want to check it out. I have a discount code or link there. All right, let's get back into this. So, once you've created the meditative state or space, awareness space, this is where engagement comes in. What do I mean by that? This is where people start reconnecting to themselves on a deeper level. Because when you're reactive, you're disconnected. But when you slow down, you can actually hear yourself again. This is where you connect to your higher self, your intuition, God, source, whatever you want to call it, universe. And I want you to notice something. The answers that come from this space feel different. They feel calmer, clearer, um, less urgent. So instead of reacting, you ask, what do I need to know right now? What is this trying to show me? What is this experience, this person, this relationship, whatever? What is this trying to show me? What am I actually feeling underneath this? Because most of the time, what you're reacting to on the surface is not just the full truth. Okay. And when you ask better questions, you get better answers. And then my personal favorite part where this all started is reflection. This is where you build awareness over time. But the key here is neutralizing. Can you observe something without judging it? Because your brain is wired to label things quickly. Okay. That's how we've learned to survive. And this is actually this piece right here. I just remember when I was a kid, I was so like remember being so judgmental that then I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be judged too. There's a lot to that. But anyway, my focus was to learn how to not judge people and how to be observant and not judge. So this is where I got into this. But we've learned that like judging is the survival mechanism, but the same pattern is what keeps you emotionally stuck. So instead of saying that was wrong, like labeling it, that was wrong, that was disrespectful, can you just say that happened and sit with that? Because the meaning you give something is what creates your emotional experience. So for example, and not just the event itself, right? So if you say that happened and then emotions start to come up, okay, emotion comes up, emotion come up, like then you can understand, like, or then you can sit with that and be aware of that emotion and be like, why am I having this emotion? What is this judgment? What is this, what is this coming up? And then you learn so much more. So the next time if something was to happen, you can disrupt that pattern and you can learn from it. And when you remove that judgment, you create that space. And that space is where your power is. And then gratitude. And this is deeper than people realize. Gratitude is not just a mind shift or mindset shift, it's a physiological shift. When you focus on something you appreciate, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, which help regulate your mood and reduce stress. It also helps create or calm your nervous system because it signals safety. And when your body feels safe, you don't react the same way. You don't spiral the same way. So gratitude isn't about ignoring what's hard. It's about expanding your awareness to include what's still working. And that changes your entire state. And I think about like brain heart coherence, and this is something I will talk about in another episode because I'm just so passionate about it. Brain heart coherence was something that I came up with in my mind because I was trying to figure things out, and I just love studying this kind of stuff and analyzing in my own inwardness. And I remember the first time I learned about the studies of brain heart coherence, and I was like, oh my gosh, like someone else has studies on this. So anyway, I will talk about that in another episode, but that's where your gratitude can magnify the significance and the impact in your life for the greater good. Like it is truly, it's not just a fluffy thing to do, or to blanket, pretend that everything's good. it's truly a complete shift in your body and in your life. Okay, and then we move into movement. We move into movement. Because energy is the word energy, or the word emotion is energy in motion. And if you're not moving it, then you're storing it. And your body is holding on to that stress through tension, tightness, and just discomfort, which can ultimately cause illnesses. And movement helps release that. So even light movement like walking has been shown to reduce stress hormones and improve mood, because your body needs an outlet. So this isn't about working out. This is about release. Let your body process what your mind can't. I hurt my knee, and so I haven't been able to like physically move as much. And so I use my vibration plate, and that releases it out of my body. If you don't have a vibration plate, I highly recommend it. I'm obsessed with mine. So when you start to put all of this together, you stop reacting the way you used to. You create space, you process, and then you choose. And over time, you don't lose yourself in the situations the way you used to. And that changes everything. So let's make this real. You're triggered in a relationship, okay? For example, your first instinct is to react, to lash out, to leave, to, cry, to all of these things. But instead, pause, check your energy, regulate your body, and then you observe what's happening without immediately reacting. And then you respond. That's the ultimate shift, okay? So, this is what intentional living actually is, not controlling everything around you, but learning how to control how you show up within it. So, try this for 3 days and just notice the difference, because this is the work and this is how you ultimately come back to yourself. So, I'm going to put in the show notes on, the link to my Emerge process worksheet. You can have it for free, and please download it, please try it, and then come back to the comments and let me know how it works for you. I would love to hear your feedback and just ultimately connect with you. So if this episode resonates with you, please share it with someone who needs it, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on what's next. I thank you for listening in. I'm very grateful for you. And so rebel, root, rise, and live richly. We'll see you next time, Rich Rebel.